The 22nd of February. Mr. and Mrs. Garbidin's room. Oh, you're here now, Mr. Garbidin. What bally business it is from me, you know? Getting out and about. Were you at the Old Bailey by any chance? Naturally. Paid on my lodgings, hanging in the balance, and all that. Not a trial to miss. Paid of what's already been dubbed your haunted lodgings? Yes. Of course, the place was caused quite a stir around the capital and more than one occasional already. With all haunted lodgings or some such. Ah! Well, he knows. Makes you wonder what the blazes are going on. Don't you know? Yes, I'm sure it does. In fact, thinking back to Mr. Natsume's other trial just 2 days ago. You were at the Old Bailey then as well, weren't you? Testifying with your wife about what happened. Stopped off at the prison on the way home, in fact. Beastly business. I see. Well, what brings you to my haunted abode today? We'll examine first, see if we can get anything. Few things? Yes, those enormous, mortar shells. Quite something seeing them up close, isn't it? Didn't you say something about firing them into the, barricades, Mr. Garbidin? Oh, you remember, do you? Just a little mishap that occurred during training one day. What are you doing firing on your own men? And the captain bowed at me. Not surprised, a little mishap doesn't really do it justice, does it? Well, one has these little incidents when one's a hot-headed young private. Guess I should have put some evidence that resulted in one of my little mishaps on display. Oh, does the great lawyer, like the great detective, want to exhibit some trophies of his finest moments? She just reads him like hook, line, and sinker, dude. Like, it's insane to me. I don't know, that just feels like such, like, sibling energy. Where you can just kind of read each other like that. That's what it feels like to me. It doesn't look like there's anything else that we really have here now, is there? No, I didn't want this. I did not. Stoppy. I wish they just have a fast forward button on these kind of dialogues, but whatever. Okay, we can converse, so let's converse. Your lodgings, your lodgingers. Your lodgings, we'll do your lodgings. Some fishy fellow from the Far East and a failed actor. Chap of questionable character, Yes, the house does seem to have become something of a magnet for rum fellows of late. Thanks to that bollock curse. The convict's curse, you mean? You heard the stories, have you? Rotten scoundrel was arrested here, and then the next chap on the room goes and kneels over. And there was the woman who dropped dead just outside the street. Not to mention the actor yesterday. Am I next, eh? Well, can't help but get the Cobbly Wobblies, can you? When you say the woman who dropped dead outside on the street, you mean Miss Green? As Miss Green was stabbed by the knife, and Mr. Shanspeare was poisoned last night? Are both very much alive still. Yes, well, that was that blasted convict's curse, it seems. Personally, I should be quite content with such lodgings. A bath, a toilet, a fireplace, a fancy, history. Why, it sounds like the lap of luxury. I'm not so sure about that. Well, there's no bath or toilet included. No fireplace either. But you do look out for your tenants, don't you? By watching the rise and fall of the flames in your gas lamps up here. Yes, never hurts to keep an eye on things. In case there are many mishaps or some such like. I think you've had your mishaps already, sir. That's not helpful, Mr. Slomes. Heavens forgive me. The words just came to my lips. That's what I said. Winky face. Some fishy fellow from the Far East. A failed actor. A chap of questioning character, eh? There's no need for that, Mr. Garbodin. That's right, Mr. Natsume. Is in no way fishy. He is undeniably particular, however. Is it right that he took the vacancy immediately after the previous tenant passed away? Yes, that's right. I asked the estate agent to find someone, and he popped up the very same day. Never come across a chap so keen for a place with a background, as it were. I don't think it was the room's background he was keen on, so much as the cheap rent, actually. So, how long was Mr. Shamspears been lodging under your roof? That failed actor chap? Let me see. Oh, of course! Yes, it's been 3 months now. Quite sure of it. Only 3 months? Wait, new here too, then. And to what do you owe your certainty in that regard, Mr. Garbodin, if I might ask? Well, there was that Selden scoundrel, as it happens. Selden? The convent, you mean? Selden and Shamspear have some kind of connection, then? Oh. That convent chap, Selden, passed away in the clinic 3 months ago now. See? Some malade or other. Yes, we seen the report from the newspaper at the time. Well, it was only 3 days until later that the tragedian showed his face. Doctor fellow. Really? Yes, I remember it quite distinctly. 'Tis small, this world we inhabit. Pray thee, landlord, hear my request. I, the humble Shamspear, do desire to take thy room on the middle floor, offered, well, for rent. Terrible sorrow and whatnot, but that won't be possible. Already have a lodger on the middle floor. Ground floor's room's vacant, though. Nothing can be made out of nothing. Let me repeat mine with will unto thee. Those curls must be muffling your ears. Room on the middle floor's taken. It's ground floor or nothing. Very well, we will have an accord. Glad to hear it. Look into Briar Road. Lo, I am Shamspear, dance to celebrate. What I heard in court today sounds like the chap was thieving gas. And he was 3 months in arrears with the rent too. Yes, the fellow was a bully play, all right. Thank you for your candor, Mr. Garbodin. We are most grateful. By way of appreciation, allow me to say 1 or 2 words. Give me my rope. Put on my crown. I have immortal lodgings in me. What's happened to you? Shakespeare, my dear fellow. One of his most famous lines. I wish to divulge my own learning of the subject, for I have a turn for literature too, you know. Perhaps you could turn your attention to more ant lines then? Okay. So, we do have one thing to present to him, thankfully. thanks to Mr. Grayson, our wonderful, investigator. Mr. Garberdin, can I ask you to look at this photo? Is that your son who's with you there? Oh, no, not at all. He was a lodger here once. Duncan Ross was his name. Duncan Ross? Street photographer happened to be passing, so I asked him to take a shot, just for kicks, really. Was he by any chance the lodger before Mr. Natsume? Yes, that's right. The young gentleman who died in the room in mysterious circumstances. Just what Mr. Mustache was waiting for, one might say. Yes, young Duncan lived in a room on top of the first flight of stairs before that Japanese chap. Would you mind telling us a little more about him? The lodger's death. And taxes, baby. Yes, Duncan Ross. Young chap was attending art school. Had to work to pay for it, mind. Moved in the middle room moved in the middle floor room about a year ago, after the criminal Sheldon was arrested. Duncan is always on the hunt for rooms with a history behind them. History of cheap rent, maybe. Yes. Yes, well, anyway, it was one morning about a month ago, now. And it quite worked out on the old trick of watching the gas lamps to see what my lodger is up to at the time. Sadly, I was rather tardy to discover what had happened. Oh, gas had alerted me. It was... Ah, yes, synonymous with the smell of death. Called the police straight away, of course, and the officer kicked the door off its hinges. Once we got inside, we all bodily collapsed. Because of the gas? Yes, room was full of it. No air at all. Stove must have gone out while the poor chap was sleeping in his bed. So, Mr. Ross suffocated to death? Of course. The police gave me a sound ticking off because the gas pipes were so old and all that. Can't tell you how much it sent me back to have the lot replaced all over the house. But even after you had all the work done, Mr. Natsume says the same thing. The stove goes out at night while he's sleeping in bed. Well, that's a bally curse, the convict's curse. Done my duty as a landlord now. Someone's feeling defensive. Oh, that reminds me, actually. Yes? About that young Duncan. That night before the poor chap perished. Been writing a letter of affection to a young lady. A love letter, you mean? Yes. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Left it on my desk. You'll excuse me. Let me see now. What does it say? My most beautiful and charming sweetheart. Do you think we should be reading such a personal piece of correspondence? My dear Mrs. Sato, this is precisely why I preface my reading with, if you'll excuse me. Oh, of course. I said excuse me. I called oopsie daisies, Your Honor. It's all good. I will not excuse you, Mr. Sholmes. No. Sadly, I didn't address it, though. I have no means of delivering anything. Rather sad, really. I see. That's going to play on my mind. But really, the identity of Mr. Ross's sweetheart has no bearing on the case. I think we should leave well known. Yes, I suppose you're right. Indeed, the intended descendant's address is missing. However, there is a name attributed to the man's most beautiful and charming sweetheart. Mr. Sholmes, please! I've already had to chastise you about this once. My undying love to you, my colorful darling. Olive Green. Ah! Olive Green? The woman who was plunged into a coma after a knife plunged into her back outside this house 5 days ago. The victim of the last case, Sasaki-san, was in court for, who regained consciousness only yesterday. Is he just a chance that her name has come up now? Could it possibly be a mere coincidence? Mr. Naruto, whatever can this mean? Reading personal correspondence can have its merits. You see, Mrs. Sato? Okay, so I guess we did all that. Let's go to Olive Green's place then. We have to ask her something. The 22nd of February. St. Bartholomew's Hospital. Recovery ward. Mr. Naruto, I've just finished speaking with the doctor. Seems Miss Green is well enough to be discharged at last. This is good news. Hopefully just before she... Ah! What is it? Miss Green! What was that? She clearly just hit something behind her back. One moment. I'll be with you in a jiffy. Oh, hello everyone. What are you all doing here? The doctor has said I could be discharged, so I'm just getting my things together. Miss Green, what were you just doing? Oh, nothing really. I was just about to take some medicine the doctor just prescribed for me, that's all. Well, we were hoping to have another quick chat with you, if that's alright. I don't really have anything else to tell you. Alright, she's definitely behaving strangely. See if we can't coax something out of her. Examine time. What is this? The bottle that Miss Green was just about to drink from when we arrived. Yes, she looked rather preoccupied, didn't she? Perhaps it's very bitter. I can't stand bitter medicine. I suppose that could be it. In fact, whenever the doctor prescribes me medicine for a number of days, I always take it all at once. Oh no. Well, you have to take something you don't like, just to get it all out of the way at one go, isn't it? Oh dear. I thought it was Miss Green I should be worrying about at the moment. This little idiot. This is the card that Miss Green was looking at so intently before, isn't it? Mr. Naruto, we shouldn't be peeking at a young woman's private effects. Right, I should save peeking for gentlemen's effects only. Real? You mustn't do that either. And maybe you, Mrs. Sato, shouldn't be peeking into a young man's mind either? Too late. Too late. She already considers you more of a pet than anything else. It's wonderful news that you're going to be discharged, Miss Green. Oh, yes. I mean, you. Once people are better, the hospital staff doesn't want them lingering and wasting time. Not people like me, anyway. So I don't think I should keep anyone waiting. I probably shouldn't stand around and chat. She surely doesn't seem to be in that mood to talk. That's for sure. Okay, so we're gonna need to coax this out of her. What can we coax out? Perhaps this? Presento. Miss Green, we were hoping to ask you about someone. Mr. Duncan Ross? You knew him, didn't you? Oh. What is... Oh no! I'm so sorry. The bottle of medicine fell down, when she did it. Oh, Miss Green, are you alright? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to startle you like that. Oh, no, it's alright. I just wasn't expecting it. But how do you know about Duncan? Mr. Ross had been writing a letter when he passed away. The landlord found it in his room. It was a very personal letter. To you. It was at the art school. That's where I met Duncan. A year ago now. He was working to fund his studies. He dreamt of becoming a professional artist one day. And the two of you became romantically involved? Yes, that's right. We were very much in love. We were engaged to be married, actually. That's why he decided to move into a cheaper room, to save money for the wedding. And that's what led to Mr. Garberdin's... Yes, he told me he found the worst but cheapest room in the entire East End. And then, 1 month ago, that's when it happened. So terribly sorry, Miss Green. Well, it's all in the past now, I suppose. Poor Miss Green. She looks desperately sad. I was startled, starting to think that's just her look. But now I see that she has every reason to feel the universe is against her. I do hope you won't think I'm being rude, but... Mind leaving me in peace now? I had to leave the hospital soon. Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean to hold you up. Of course, we'll be on our way. Mr. Naruto! Surely you were not about to leave. That's quite out of the question. What? Mr. Slomes? I didn't realize you were here. But of course I was, my dear fellow. Watching intently for the shadows, as always. Well, make your presence known next time. Mr. Slomes, what's this about? Something which occurs to me with some irregularity, Mrs. Sato, is this. Why do detectives insist on such an ex post facto mortis operandum? Why solve a case after it's happened? Instead of preventing a case before it happens. That is what sets a great detective apart. What do you mean? There is a case waiting to happen under our very noses, Mr. Naruto. So let me avert disaster. Let us prevent this case from ever happening. With nothing but careful observation. Alright. All the clues you need are set before you. You need only look. You cannot fail to see. You could do it, Mr. Naruto. I know you can. Yeah? That rain ain't moving. That mouse seems to be dead. Look, I didn't notice it there before. Did you? I think perhaps it drank the medicine that spilled out of the bottle. But that's the bottle that Miss Green was about to drink from when we arrived. You don't think... Oh, I see you've come to appreciate the true nature of the scene. That of a tragedy about to take place. Yes, I think it's falling into place. Miss Green? Contents of the bottle you had before I spilled out on the floor. The poor mouse that drank it has sadly died. I think it's clear the bottle must have contained a powerful poison. tend to the mouse presently. Miss Green, were you intending to go the same way as that rodent? To take your own life? Ah! Well, once we'd left, you would have put it to your lips again, wouldn't you? And taken the poison? No! Miss Green, please talk to us. What is this? Definitely feels as though this card must be relevant. I mean, when we first arrived, Miss Green was standing with it in her hand, in what could only be described as a very tense atmosphere. Yes. May very well be related to whatever incident Mr. Slomes believes was about to happen here. Perhaps we should ask Miss Green about it. Yeah. Well, Miss Green. Yeah, it's right there, highlighted. Completely. Well then. 10 seconds later, we have arrived at a very different scene here. In all probability, we would not have enjoyed this most delightful conversation. Of course, perhaps it hasn't been quite so delightful. From your perspective, Miss Green. Actually, in a way, everything's out in the open. I feel like a weight has been lifted. Tell me, how did you acquire that medicine? Well, with this being a hospital and all, doctors come to examine me in the mornings. He always leaves the medicine cabinet open for a while, so I snuck those out while he wasn't looking. Because Fisher lacks a label. Wonder what it contains. I'm afraid I don't really know. But I thought if I drink it, it might just stop the pain somehow. Oh please, Miss Green! Don't talk of such things! Well, it seems clear now that it contains poison. It's that poor little mouse's proof of that. Oh no. Oh, it's my fault. What have I done? I shall remove this to my office, Miss Green. I take it you have no objections? No, none. Neither the sender's name or address appear to be written on the envelope or the card. It arrived by post at my home the day before the incident that put me in the hospital here. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It's a matter of utmost importance. Wait a minute. The 17th? Of this month? That's the day you were stabbed at Briar Road! And 5 p.m. It's precisely the time when the incident occurred. The Slug and Salad, yes? A pub on the northern corner of Briar Road. Briar Road? Being the street that Mr. Garberdon House is on. Does this mean that... Yes, I'm sure you've guessed. That day, when I was struck in the back by the knife, I was actually on my way to the Slug and Salad. Goodness! That's what you were doing on Briar Road that day. Sorry I didn't say anything before. I think I really will have to ask you to excuse me now. I told you everything. Yes. Very sorry to have dragged up such painful memories for you. No, it's fine. It's green. Please. Please promise us you won't try to do anything like that again. Yes, don't worry. Your detective friend has the bottle now, anyway. And besides, I've been stabbed in the back and had a close shave with a bottle of poison. And I'm still here. I think I'm destined to see things through to the end. It might sound a little conceited, but, well, that's how this has made me feel. Leaving Miss Grant and St. Bartholomew behind, we made our way back to Baker Street with Mr. Sloanes. Well, it would appear we've reached the end of the investigation trial for today. Yes, it's late. And Mr. Narod, did you discover anything that may be of use to you in court tomorrow, do you think? Details about Mr. Shamspeare, Mr. Garberdin's lodgings, the convict Selden? There are many facets to this case. We yet to see the heart of it. You ask me. That's my feeling anyway. Can't help wondering about the results of the analysis. Into Mr. Natsume's tea, you mean? Yes. Will they have found strychnine in it or not? Well, I fear that either way. It will be hard to escape the grip of our fate, our friend, Mr. Reaper. Oh dear. Yes, Barvik von Zeeks. But I wish you every success, of course. And though I was late to rise this morning, tomorrow will be a new dawn. I intend to spring from my bed at the crisp hour and attend the trial. Mr. Sloanes, you're going to come? Indeed. Whatever happens, I shall be there. Assuming my eyelids cooperate in the morning. Well, I think we've done what we can. But let's let this remain focused. Keep fighting for Mr. Natsume's cause until the very end. London, the world's most prosperous city, home to some 6 million people. But away from the razzle-dazzle, down back alleys and behind bricked-up windows, the lonely lurk. Suki-san had battled long and hard with loneliness during his many months here. So I felt honor-bound to battle equally hard for my compatriot, to lift the curse that gripped him. As for Mr. Sloane said, tomorrow will be a new dawn. For all of us. To be continued.